Hello and welcome to another episode of Established 1983 Lives, because I'm trying to live here, and every day that goes by, my awareness of the issues that concern every living creature on this earth increases. And today's subject matter is that of government, and aptly titled so, Governments Are the Cancer Eating Away at Humanity. I'll add worldwide. Yeah, I think that's going to be the title of this episode, and it's part of a new series that I'd like to be doing from now on. I'm going to be releasing more of these every day, 2, 3 perhaps, because what I do, I'm very fortunate, very fortunate right now, is I have something to do most days of the week that allows me the pleasure of listening to people, to teachers, listening to people that have taken the time, sometimes decades, to really investigate all these issues that ultimately truly mean something in all of our existence. Now, I've gone through various emotional and maturity evolutions throughout my channel, and sometimes when I look back to the first early videos that I made and I see, wow, I had so much anger and so much passion, and well, that was indicative of my understanding at the time. Today I'm a lot more wusa, because ultimately I understand that things that are completely out of your control, just simple knowledge, information, facts that shape our reality, these things that are completely out of your control, it is a complete waste of energy to get angry and stay angry. It's good to get angry, yes. If I hadn't gotten angry, who knows, perhaps I would still be in my passive sleeping state, as some like to call it. So I went through the anger phase, I went through the sadness phase, I even went through the feeling hopeless phase, and that was short-lived, because I don't consider myself to be a defeatist, and there's nothing that I can't do as far as further informing myself and yearning for knowledge, and I'm saying true knowledge and wisdom from those who know what they're talking about. Now, people often say, oh, how can you say that this source is valid, and like it could be controlled opposition, and well, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. As my friend Maximilian 432 Hertz likes to say, listen to everyone, believe no one, except me, because I always tell the truth. Well, I've adopted that line. So without further ado, the latest episode, the pilot episode to a series entitled, what's the series called? I gave you the title of the episode. What's the series called? Seasoned Wisdom. That's a good one. Seasoned Wisdom. Okay, so here's Vinny Eastwood and a guest that he had on his show, Caton, and enjoy. Little excerpt, 10 minutes, 11 minutes, just for flavor. The link in the description below for you to listen to the entire podcast yourself. So, enjoy.
About everything. It's astonishing. And the things that I've learned from, you were talking earlier about these 92 people that they've taken. I know leading scientists that have told me privately, we have pods around the world, and we're not stupid. We're not going to come out with the technology we have until the time is right, because we don't want to end up like all these other people that they've been taking out. And I feel sorry for people that can hear this, what you and I are talking about right now, and think, oh, that's conspiracy theory. Not realizing that government is conspiratorial by its nature. It's structural that way. I talk about this whole thing. That's government. That's government. What is the nature of government? And once again, its essential nature can be compared to that of a spoon. Here's another conspiracy theory. I'm actually going to call that a spoon. It's structurally that way. It's structured. Government is structured to be the perfect platform for committing criminal conspiracies, for committing outrageous acts.
May I just define that for people? Okay, so what's criminal? Criminal is damaging someone or their property, causing harm or loss, right? Now, what's conspiracy? Conspiracy is when you do that act with somebody else and the person you do it to doesn't find out about it. So the government is there to cause harm and loss without the people they're harming finding out about it. Sound about right?
That's why they create this thing. People need to know this. People need to know that everything they believe, I call it the BCN. There's a little section I talk about it right here. The BCN, the benign common narrative, is the generally held, lovably skewed belief system which a people accept as given about themselves, their collective principles, their culture, their country, their government. To be clear, my use of benign common narrative is different than the sociological term common narrative in the sense that what we've all been led to believe is deliberately sculpted to hide maliciousness. Go back to your definition of conspiracy. I mean, if that isn't... No, government is about... This is why they've made this an issue. You know what this reminds me of when I was in kindergarten? Kindergarten, to use... the horror writer Stephen King wrote an autobiography in 2000 called About the Craft or something like that. Anyways, he says the thing about being a young child is most of your bingo balls are still in the draw tank. So, of course, kids are always just learning the language. They still haven't really mastered the language. So you'll see kindergartners say, well, you're an idiot. You're a butthole. You're this or that. And a common reply that a kindergartner will come up with is, oh, I know you are, but what am I? Right? Only 5-year-olds talk like this. Oh, I know you are, but what am I? It's cute when you hear a 5-year-old say it. It's not so cute when you hear a government say it. We're conspiracists. I know you are, but what am I? You're a conspiracy theorist. We can't talk about the fact that everything we do is conspiratorial and evil and malicious. So if you call us on it, I know you are, but what am I? You're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts. And the people that swallow that hook, line, and sinker.
Well, it's a it's
does it bother you? Does it ever bother you that you live on a planet where there are so many people that are just that breathtakingly stupid? I don't mean to sound unkind, but
I used to feel that way, but then I understood the context of it. When you raise a dog and you break its spirits and you make it do tricks and things like that, and it hurts itself and you laugh at it, it only hurt itself because of what you made it do. All right? And a lot of what happens is conditioning. From a very, very young age, we're all getting conditioned by the movies our parents who don't have enough time sat us in front of. We're being conditioned by kindergarten and preschool and all of these kind of things. So when you look at the causation of why people are the way they are, it totally makes sense, although you wish that it was not this way. And you wish you could have some kind of silver bullet, a phrase, a trigger word, or something of that nature that would make somebody with 25 odd years of business and government indoctrination in their system to suddenly regurgitate it all out, you know? Like a drunk who's drank too much and their body is purging it. How do you purge that from somebody's system? And I don't think you frickin' can. It's a borderline. Well, you described it as cancer. Government is a cancer, more or less. And I think what they do is they infect people's bodies with a cancer virus. Not only figuratively, but as recent research has found out, literally. Cancer viruses and the vaccines and so on and so forth. And regulations allowing EMF and what have you, cancers going all over the place. So what's happening is what's called a Mandelbrot, where you can zoom in on a hologram that has a beautiful design and it seems to be individual and different in everything that you look at it. But as soon as you zoom into it, you find out that it's just a pattern that keeps repeating itself no matter how you look at it. And we, as people, have got this sort of inherent responsibility, like if we are part of an organism, what part are we? Now, you say that government causes entropy. Well, the aging process is the same reason why vehicles rust, and that's oxidation. And how this works on a biological level is you've got these things called free radicals that come in and they steal your electrons, all right? Like if you're a cell, they come in, they steal your electrons, right? And they start to make you die a little. But then there's these things called antioxidants that come in out of the breeze or whatever, from out of nowhere, and they donate electrons to bring you back to your house so that you can continue to function normally and not die or corrode, all right? Now, I look at this as psychopaths versus the activists who are basically rising up to oppose them, right? We're not here, essentially, to beat them all back and stuff like that. We're merely part of the process that slows down the corrosion. I'm not sure if activism and proposing solutions will actually work inherently. And I don't think we're required to solve all the world's problems at once because we're not the ones who caused it. What we can do, on the other hand, is have a look at our own backgrounds. What am I innately talented at? What are my innate concerns? What will actually give me the most fulfillment at this moment in a betterment of society, like in the way that I do it, and go out and do it. Whether or not it works, doesn't matter. You made a fucking effort. And that's actually what counts at the end of the day. You didn't do nothing. And that's about as encouraging a day as you can really have. Today, I didn't do nothing.
Well, in the absence of an expanding awareness of this, I don't see you can have resistance to something that is pure evil that brings about the death of all life on your planet, which that is the direction we're headed. I'm not saying that we're going to get there. I'm not saying that. But that's the direction that we're headed. In the absence of people banding together to examine the problem and to co-create a better world, I don't see how we have a chance to write the course of this, because as you yourself have said earlier, co-creation doesn't mean that we sit on our fat asses and just expect that someone's gonna come and save us from all this. This is what really bothers me about certain, how shall I say this delicately, certain people of a religious bent who think that we can really dirty our nest, really create a really crappy situation, and we can keep doing it quite unapologetically, but it's okay because something is going to come and save us without any effort, of course, from our own side. And I just think that's a ludicrous idea. But you've got people in the world who actually, not an unsubstantial number, by the way, who think that's what we're going to have happen. That's okay. There's going to be a knight in a white horse.
I don't know,
Jesus or Vishnu or God knows who's going to come and save us.
Some bullshit statistic I heard says that about 1% of people do about 50% of the work.
I can believe it. So that's the reason why this has to be front and center, and we have to be able to speak openly and honestly about this and let the chips fall where they may, because you can't hide from it. I see it all the time. I hope some of this doesn't correspond to things in our second hour.
The link to the entire podcast is in the description below. And I will see you all next time.